What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sweat and Sacrifice. Today we are going to be doing part 2 of the Glock 19 Gen 5 9mm version teardown, clean, and reassemble. I already made the video of the slide of the upper, so go ahead and check that video out. And we're going to be tackling the lower today. I already took the pins out, already removed the slide for time purposes, so we'll get right into it. Now once you get you have the Gen 5 line has 2 pins, the forward and the rear. It's the only thing you need to take apart to start this assembly. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to pull this front gun out. Just lifts right out like so. Next thing you're going to do is we're going to pull out the slide release and rear slide lock. Be sure that you don't lose that little spring there. I don't know if it's going to focus, but make sure you don't lose a little spring there when you're pulling this apart. There's really no need to pull this takedown, the takedown tab. You just leave that in there, unless it's like absolutely filthy, then you can go ahead and do it. But in most cases, hitting it with some cleaner and a couple Q-tips, just fine. Now those whole rear trigger assembly, yep, will lift right out. This is an Apex trigger. Highly recommend. What I really love about this trigger is how wide the face is. What that does, it allows me to get a more consistent straight pull back as opposed to kind of angling the trigger back, because you have so much surface area for your finger to grab a hold of. So highly recommend. I picked this trigger up through ArmorUp. Check out armorup.us on Instagram. Anything you need, hit him up and he'll take care of you. The trigger bar. This is a double diamond trigger bar I picked up from a Glock store. I mean, overall, so aside from the trigger and the barrel, all these parts are really, you're going to notice the difference is going to be so significant in each individual upgrade. But all these together is incredible, really, what it does to the weapon. It's like shooting a different gun. So my recommendation is, if you're going to go, just get everything. Go all out and be done with it. Again, I always tell people, don't buy upgrades to compensate for poor form or poor marksmanship. Get your form down, get your techniques down, master that, and then start upgrading your weapon. It's my little piece of advice. Extended mag release. Not necessary, but when you're doing, like, if you're doing tack drills, where you're doing tack reloads, I find it's easier to, drop and hit. You just get that little extra meat on there if you're doing things at a high rate of speed. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take our cleaning solvent, Q-tip, and we're just going to go ahead and give this a run. Couple dabs, nothing too crazy. Anywhere where you see any kind of buildup, go ahead and hit that and let it sit. Same thing with the trigger bar. trigger assembly. Gonna let all this sit for a minute, and then we'll take our steel brush and we'll just give this a couple hits. I already cleaned this. I cleaned this not too long ago, so I don't have to go crazy. But you know, if you went 5, 6, 7,000 rounds without cleaning, you know, you may even need to go over this twice just to make sure you get everything off. Make sure you give it a good wipe down. You don't want your solvent mixing with your lubricant, so make sure you get all your cleaning agent off of there. Okay. Okay, that looks pretty good. Got trigger housing and trigger bar wiped down. Get in here with a Q-tip. All right. Now, when you go to reassemble your trigger, you can notice there's a little latch right there. You see that? So the front of this cross here, that's what's going to seat inside that latch. And it's just very simple. You're going to come in on an angle. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I can get this on camera for you. Well, so you're going to come in on an angle, and you're going to cock it forward, and it's going to sit right in that latch. Like so. And then you should be on the trigger assembly should be on the resting on the outside of the trigger bar. Okay, we can go ahead and drop it in. Goes right back in the same way that it came out. Nice and easy. And then we'll get our, so this is the slide release lever. This particular one, it's kind of a double extension. So the fold is a little wider than normal, and it also has this extended tab on the outside, which is good and bad. I'll go over that in a second once I get this back together. Go ahead and drop our guide in. Okay. We'll go ahead and get some lube on that trigger assembly. Don't soak it with lubricant. Glocks do not like it. And all you're going to do with all the excess lubricant is you're going to collect dust, dirt, grime, and you're going to end up with failures. So, a little bit at a time. Let's go ahead and drop our pins in. The rear pin, is noticeably smaller than the front pin. So that's an immediate distinction on what goes where. And that should just slide right in. Make sure you have an equal amount showing on each side of the pin, which obviously right now I don't. So you take your takedown tool, just give it a little push until you have as close as you can to equal on both sides. It's not great, but that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's just a hair more on one side, but that's fine. And then your front pin is keyed. Now it's not directionally keyed, but it's you'll notice when you put it in, you'll feel those grooves kind of lock into place. Same thing, just give it a little push. I don't know if you heard that click, but you'll feel it once once that pin is in proper position. All right, so next, let me get some oil on the front here. Okay, let's get this slide in place. Trigger test. Seems to work fine. Great. So before we wrap this up, I want to touch base on the extended slide release. Now, this is awesome for racking the slide quick. It's never miss ever. The downfall to this is, so when you do a thumbs forward grip, right? I don't know if I can. When you get into a thumbs forward grip, because that tab sticks out so far, at least for me, I occasionally would run into my thumb putting pressure on that extended tab, and my slide would not lock open on last shot. So the way I combat that and how I adjusted my style of shooting was I still do the thumbs forward grip, but what I do is my dominant hand, I take my thumb and I just slide it to the back knuckle of my thumb. So that does two things for me. Number one, it eliminates the possibility of me getting a last round malfunction, but it also gives me another point of contact when I go to shoot. It's very distinct when my thumb is on or off my on that thumb knuckle. So when I go to rack, I get up, nothing changes. I'm still middle finger to pinky. You know, you're not changing the grip out of the palm of your hand. You're still doing thumbs forward, and I just move that to the side. I may be a little uncomfortable at first, but I've done it so much that it's now it's unnatural for me to have thumb over thumb. Just roll that to the side, and money for me every time. I have no issues with it. So that's about it. Thanks everybody for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what other videos you guys would like to see. Appreciate you watching, and remember, anything worth doing is worth your sweat and sacrifice. We'll see you next time.